They have Brad Beal now. They have Brook Lopez. They also have John Collins. So you see this team and what they've done. What type of noise can they make in the West?
Sports. If I was the general manager in the NBA and I had just acquired Chris Paul, even at 39, what would you say?
What an acquisition.
Facts. I'd say the same thing. So why is Kendrick Perkins saying this?
If we think that this is about to move the needle for the Clippers as far as being a competitor, not just a title contender, but competing in the tough Western Conference, it's not. They're going to have a good regular season. But when it comes down to them competing in the Western Conference, especially when they get postseason time, can they compete with the likes of a Houston, OKC, Denver, even the Lakers now? I just don't see it.
That is nonsense, you know.
Yes, utter nonsense. Now OKC is OKC, so I'll give them that. But the Clippers can't compete with the Rockets?
I don't agree.
In that trade with the Phoenix Suns for Kevin Durant, Houston lost wing depth on the defensive end with the losses of Dillon Brooks and Jalen Green. So yeah, Kevin Durant is coming back. And he's elite offensively, but they lost defensive depth. And Kevin's got to give him 60-plus games. That's not a guarantee. So the Clippers could compete with the Rockets.
Yes, they can!
Now I'll give them Denver too, because Denver's deep. They made the necessary changes. They brought in Cam Johnson, Valanciunas, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Bruce Brown. Now they lost Michael Porter Jr., but the Clippers and the Nuggets are both deeper than they were last year. But don't act like the Clippers didn't take the Nuggets to 7 games and lose a game 7 in Denver. They can compete with Denver.
Yes, they can!
But the Lakers? You don't bring in DeAndre Ayton and Marcus Smart and then talk about you have a top 5 roster in the Western Conference. They don't have a top 5 roster in the Western Conference. They still have Luka Doncic and LeBron James on the defensive end on the court at the same time.
Yes, you are my bitch, LeBron James.
They're not as good as the Clippers. They're not as good as the Mavericks. They're not as good as the Rockets. They're not as good as OKC. Don't bring up the Lakers. The Clippers are 10 deep, 11 deep. They brought in John Collins, Bradley Beal, Brook Lopez, Chris Paul. Theoretically, they added 57 points, 20 rebounds, 15 assists. They lost Norman Powell, and that's a big loss. That's 22-3 with 2 assists. And they lost Drew Eubanks, who was a nothing player for them. Played a few minutes. But look at that bench. They have Chris Paul coming off their bench. They have Bogdanovich coming off their bench. They have Brook Lopez coming off their bench. They have Chris Dunn coming off their bench. They're 10 or 11 deep. They can win the West.
Yes, they can!
And you don't be like Kendrick Perkins and dismiss the LA Clippers. The Clippers can win the West.